Welcome to Andrea Breakout Academy, to our business class today. As you know, it's Monday, so today we have a business class. And we will talk about vocabulary for work and education, or in the context of work and education. And as you know, you can follow our page and you can check our page weekly when we have live classes, either business or for other topics, and of course for our exams, OET, IELTS, as well as classes for children. So to get on with our lesson today, as I've mentioned, we will talk about vocabulary, which is related to work and education. General vocabulary that you can also use in other contexts, but we will learn the vocabulary today specifically for these two contexts. And we'll do something a little bit different. We will see the vocabulary directly in the context, directly in the exercises. So I'll share my screen. And you see, we have an exercise, and the exercise also presents some words, some language that we have to choose from in order to fill the sentences. And we have two options for each of the sentence. And as we go through the exercise, we will also talk a little bit about the words. But later on, I will let you work by yourselves, and hopefully I'll get to see your comments on our page, the comments to this lesson, and see your solutions to the exercises. We would be very, very excited to see that you've done the exercises and that you are working with the language, and hopefully this is useful for you. So if we look at this exercise, we have to choose the best word from brackets to fill the gap. We have the first one done as an example, and I will read it. I had a 9-to-5 job when I left school, but I hated it. So out of job and work, we will use the word job because it talks about the position in a position in a company. So it doesn't talk about work generally, but about specific a position or a role in a company. If we go to the next one, we have a system, but everyone must be here between 10 and 2. We have the words repetitive and flexitime. The word repetitive, I guess everybody already knows what it means. It means an action that it repeats. Definitely maybe not quite useful for our sentence, because we couldn't really say we have a repetitive system. Everyone must be here between 10 and 2. Now, a repetitive system can be okay, but not in our context when everybody has to be here between 10 and 2. So we will use the word flexitime. And flexitime means that you have a certain period of time to get to work, you have a certain period of time to leave work, but there is a core time, and the core time is between 10 and 2 when everybody has to be at work. But before 10 and after 2, you can choose when to go, when to come, when to go from work. So you can also remember the term core time. Many companies have flexitime or work on the basis of a flexitime, and I think it's pretty useful to know. The next one, I work from and simply send my work over the internet. I work from house or I work from home, and you guessed it, it's home, because when you talk about your house, your own house, you say home and not really house, because then it would mean the building itself and not necessarily the context, the environment. Number 3, I just sit in front of a computer all day, but this work is mentally tiring or mentally routine. Now, the word routine doesn't necessarily work very well here because it's mentally routine. We would need maybe an article in order to fit the word routine into the sentence. Or we would actually need an adjective rather than an adverb, because you see the verb mentally is an adverb because it ends with an ly, and adjectives are adverbs are created starting from an adjective, adding the termination ly. So we could have said, if our sentence were to be, but this work is a mental routine would have worked, but otherwise we would have to use tiring. Number 4, this is the most job I've ever had. There is never a boring minute. Well, if there's no boring minute, we understand that that's definitely not repetitive, so that's stimulating, because repetitive, as we've said earlier, is something that repeats over and over again, and it can become boring. That means that this job is actually rather stimulating. Number 5, we all look forward to 5:30, because then we can for the day. So we can off for the day. Now you remember off, it means without or out. So let's try to put this into the two words into context. We can shift off for the day. We can clock off for the day. What do you think would be the right one? And it would be to clock off for the day, meaning that at 5:30, we then can stop work because it's time to go home. Number 6, the 7:30 train to London is always full of, and then we have commuters and telecommuters. Now, to commute means to travel from point A to point B for work. So you live in one place, but you work in a different place, in another city or in a very different location. So you have to go back and forth in order to go to your job. So that means commuting. And people who travel from their home to their house to different cities are commuters. But to telecommute would mean that you work from home maybe, or from work from a certain location, which is not your work, but you work online or over the phone, or you have a certain type of a job that allows you not to be at the office. So the number 6 would have to be commuters, because commuters would actually physically move from one place to another. So these are our 6 words today. Flexitime, which means that you have the possibility of choosing your hour of getting to work and your hour of leaving work, but there is a core time as well when you have to be at the office. Then home, tiring, which would be the opposite of exciting, maybe. Stimulating, which would be the opposite of boring. Clock, and commuters. And commuters were the people that travel from one place to another to work. Our next exercise, you have to find the opposite of these words, much like we did in the first exercise at the end, right? We found the opposite of certain words. So you see number 1, 0 is already done, mentally, and then the opposite is physically. Easy, and then the opposite hard. Interesting, and then the opposite boring. And earlier we've used another opposite, which was exciting. So then those could be very good synonyms. For number 3, we have varied, and then the opposite can be routine, because varied means different things all along, and then routine means something that gets repeated. Number 4, dull, with the antonym exciting. Dull can be boring, can mean boring, so that's a synonym of boring. Number 5 is unstimulating, and the opposite fascinating. And 6, undemanding, and the opposite tough. Undemanding would mean something that doesn't ask for much, something that is not very strict also. And then tough is the opposite of that. Okay, so 6 new words, actually 12 new words, because we also have the actual words from the exercise and their antonyms. We'll get on to our next exercise. Okay, back to the first type of exercise where you have to choose from either, you have to choose one of the two options here. The first one is already done. Everyone should stay in full-time education until they are at least 18. We cannot really say in full-time school. That would mean something a little bit different, but when we refer to school, we do refer not only to the building, we also refer to the system of education. But when it's better to use education as a general word when we don't talk about school specifically, but about the education system, because we don't actually talk about the school system. So we'll see the next one. Of course, qualifications are important, but they're not everything. Of course, we'll say printed qualifications or paper qualifications are important. And we say paper qualifications instead of printed qualifications, although printed would mean that they're printed on paper, but that's how we call them. Number 2, I look for people with lots of relevant job experience or work experience. So we would say work experience. The expression is work experience and not job experience, because we are looking for people who have worked, not that people who have had jobs. Number 3, our company runs some very good in-house training skills, training courses or skilled courses. So, of course, it's training courses because the courses would make you skilled. So you have a training in order to become skilled. We don't have skilled courses. Number 4, last year we spent over £50,000 on management experience or management development. But think about this for a second. Do you spend money on management experience? Experience is gained over time. It's not something that you pay for, so it has to be development. Number 5, we value people who are highly motivated or graduated and want to get on. Highly motivated seems right. What about highly graduated? Does that seem like something that would work? People who are highly graduated? I think that it would be motivated. But I think that if we want to talk about graduation, we would say highly educated and want to get on, and that these people would be people that have had higher levels of education. But we never say highly graduated. Number 6, Tom gets on well with everyone. He is a great team person or team player. Of course, the expression you might already know is team player. We don't say team person. That's not really an expression. Okay, I hope you can follow us, and I hope you're doing well with the exercise as well. So here are some expressions that you would use: full-time education, paper qualifications, work experience, training courses, management development, highly motivated people, and team player. And we have one more. You have to choose again the best word from the bracket to fill the gap. I'm going to give you a little bit of time, about 10-15 seconds, just to very quickly try to get the words, the right words, and then at the end we'll quickly go over them, and hopefully you would have done it all right. In the meantime, I want to remind you that we have free classes every week, and you can follow our page on Facebook, Andrea Berecaut Academy, and you can see which classes are available for a certain week, and we invite you to join the classes. So let's see our exercise. So I work in a small hotel in Amsterdam. I earn €8 an hour. You cannot say I paid, because that would mean that I don't get the money, that I give the money to the hotel in Amsterdam, which is not relevant. Number two, it's not a lot, but it's more than the maximum or minimum. Well, it has to be minimum, because if it's not a lot, that means that it's above a certain amount. That certain amount, if it were the maximum one, it would be a lot. Number three, some customers leave me, and that is a great help. Leave me tips. We cannot really say perks, because a perk is an advantage or a benefit. And the customers that leave tip, they leave a tip. That's how we call the small amount of money that someone gets at the end of the service. They don't really give out advantages or perks. But we could say, for example, that the perk of my job is the tip that I get for the service. So that's an advantage of the job, but it's not necessarily financial. Number four, my sister works in a bank, and her salary is €3,000 a month. Okay, her salary is. Wage is also a good word, but you see here we have it in plural, and it doesn't really fit very well. A plural wouldn't really fit. Her wages is, because then we would have to have a plural in the verb to be as well. But we don't also talk about our salary a month in plural, because it's one salary a month. Number five, the bank also provides her with a good bonus package or benefits package. And it will have to be benefits package, because that means that she gets other advantages along with her salary, not only her salary, but she has other perks. See, now we can use perks maybe. But bonus would have to be something financial. Number six, next year, she thinks she will get a company car or a business car. The expression is a company car. So she'll get a company car, meaning the car that she gets from work, that she gets to use for business purposes, but we call it a company car. Number seven, when she is 55, she will be able to give up work and live on her package or pension. If she gives up work, it means she retires. And if you remember, I think we've had this expression or this word in a previous business class. So she'll have to live on her pension. To live on her pension, it would mean that her pension will be high enough for her to be able to live or to afford her expenses. Or her lifestyle. So we will live on her pension. Also, because if she gives up work, she will not have a salary package anymore. So, or a benefits package anymore. Therefore, she will have a pension, because you know that once someone retires, the money that they get is a pension and is not a salary anymore. So this has been all for today. I can stop sharing now. I just want to remind you that we have the business class every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks. And well, hopefully you've enjoyed this one and you found the vocabulary useful. This is vocabulary that you can use in other contexts as well, but you see that there are some expressions as well, and it would be very useful for those of you that work in private companies or in public institutions, very useful for you to know. And I also suggest that you redo the exercises after some time. So you visit again the page and you listen again to the lesson, and you read again the sentences and redo the exercises, because repetition is the mother of learning, or practice makes perfect, as we say it. So we're waiting for you the next time. Have a good day. Bye.